This is the AB4WS radio show. Every week, bringing you the exciting amateur radio news and information happening in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana areas.
The AB4WS radio show can be found on the Apple Podcast app or your favorite podcast application. And now also available on the AB4WS radio show YouTube channel. Are you subscribed to the ARRL Great Lakes Division newsletter? Well, Scott Yonley, NASY, our ARRL Great Lakes Division Director, puts out a great newsletter in PDF format with lots of information on what is happening in the Great Lakes Division, and sometimes even has a giveaway. Well, the most recent giveaway was an ARRL handbook, so I entered, having never won anything. This past week, I got a phone call from Scott telling me I won the handbook. I've always wanted an ARRL handbook, but never got one, so I'm excited when the mailman dropped off this Bible of ham radio information and technical information. So the moral of the story is to go sign up for the ARRL Great Lakes Division newsletter. And not only will you learn lots about what's going on in the division, but who knows, you might win something too. Congratulations to Wendell, KO4RXE, who won the Quan Shang HT from the Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club by being the new net control. Congratulations, Wendell. Does anyone know Ryan Mullee, KEAQDZ? He has sent me an NTS message asking for help with DMR, but there's no way to contact him, and his QRZ page doesn't have an email address. If you can help him out with DMR, or send his email address to ab4ws.radio@gmail.com, we can try to get him some help. The application period for Youth on the Air Junior 2025 camp is open until June 1st for young hams under the age of 15 years of age accompanied by a parent. The Yoda Junior is a 3-day weekend camp for young hams to meet other young hams and participate in unique experiences with radio-related technologies and build relationships with mentors and peers. To apply, go to youthontheair.org/JRCampApply. April 26th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. is the Ohio NVIS Day. The objective is to engage as many contacts as you can from multiple counties in Ohio, testing out their antennas and facilitating communications within the state of Ohio. The Youngstown State University College of STEM will hold a free Radio Day STEM event for 5th through 8th grade students on Saturday, April 26th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Williamson Innovation Park, 8399 Tippecanoe Road in Canfield, Ohio. For more information, go to tiny.cc/YSU-radio-day. Steve, NATFD, is looking for volunteers to help with communications at the Flying Pig Marathon events. Friday night, May 2nd, is the 1-mile race. Saturday, May 3rd, is the 10K, 5K. And Sunday, May 4th, is the full marathon, half marathon, and relay. If you're interested in helping out with this great event, contact Steve, NATFD, at natfd@fuse.net or give him a call at 859-393-6563. May 4th is the Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club monthly Simplex Net on 146.580 at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, which is always held on the first Sunday of the month. They invite any licensed amateur radio operator to join them by checking in. Perhaps you cannot hear the net control station at your location. Well, no problem. Just listen and eventually you'll hear a station who will take your check-in and relay it into the net control. The net starts by stations who can hear the net control. Then each of those stations put out calls and take check-ins from stations who can hear their station. And then the next set of check-ins will be asked to put out calls and take check-ins for stations that hear them. After the net, you then post who you were able to hear in your net report on nkarcgroups.io. This is an effective way to test your equipment and learn how you too can use your equipment if something happens to the repeaters and they're off the air. It is also a great training opportunity. So on the first Sunday of every month at 6 p.m., tune to 146.580 and join in on the fun. And here's a pro tip. Open that squelch up and I'll bet you'll be able to hear a lot more stations. The Ukiah Amateur Radio Society will be meeting on May 6th at 7:30 p.m. at the Laughlin Church in the Nazarene, 335 West Wyoming Avenue in Laughlin, Ohio. Interested in learning what the Parks on the Air program is all about? Well, the Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club will hold a Club Parks on the Air event on May 10th at the Big Bone Lick Steak Historic Site, US 3779. If you're interested in ham radio, HF radio, or Parks on the Air, come on out and check out what all the fun with POTA is all about. Are you a ham radio operator between the age of 11 and 21 and interested in going to the Dayton Hamvention? Well, you can sign up for the ARRL Youth Rally at the Dayton Hamvention, which is an amazing event which provides a number of hands-on activities for young hams. There'll be an on-the-air sprint, contacts with a parachute mobile station, kit building opportunity in the youth lounge, and a fox hunt. Advanced registration is recommended. For more information, go to ARRL 2025 Youth Valley Registration on ARRL.org. The Voice of America Museum of Broadcasting, in conjunction with the Westchester Amateur Radio Association, has announced expanded hours for the 2025 Dayton Hamvention for the Voice of America Museum of Broadcasting, 8070 Tylersville Road in Westchester, Ohio. It'll be open on Thursday, May 15th, Friday, May 16th, and Saturday, May 17th from noon to 9 p.m., and on Sunday, May 18th from noon to 5 p.m. Admission is $10, and the WC8VOA amateur radio station will be on the air to operate. For more information, see voamuseum.org or wc8voa.org. The Silver Creek Amateur Radio Association is inviting clubs to participate in their Northeast Ohio Multi-Club Parks on the Air POTA event on Saturday, May 31st, 2025. This event is geared to promote ham radio, your club, and Parks on the Air, and to encourage club collaboration. This is not only fun, but easy to do as well. For more information or to sign up for the event, go to w8wky.org/neo-POTA. If your club is interested in participating, please contact Josh Van Dyke at KE8VKA@gmail.com. Do you know how to send a radiogram? Well, on June 2nd at 7 p.m., the Amateur Radio Emergency Team of Northern Kentucky meeting at the Bethesda Community Church, 989 East Mount Zion Road in Independence, Kentucky. Al, WB8RGE, will be doing a presentation with some hands-on in how to send and handle a radiogram. So come on out to the meeting and learn how to handle amateur radio traffic. You never know when you may need to handle a radiogram, so this training will be applicable to all ham radio operators. The MS Bike Ride will be held on June 14th and 15th, 2025 at my old Kentucky home state park, 501 East Stephen Foster Avenue, and they're looking for amateur radio operator volunteers to keep communications flowing over the 25 to 60 mile route. Checking on riders, assisting the MS staff, providing support for the biker with water, transport, and aid as needed. You can sign up for a full or partial shifts, and you'll be fully briefed on your assignment and responsibilities. You'll need a mobile dual band radio, or at least a dual band handheld with enough battery power to get you throughout your shift. If you're interested, email kg2des@outlook.com and copy nf8d@gmail.com with your call sign, phone number, email address, and the days and times that you would like to work. June 15th is VHF Activity Day, designed to engage those primarily technician operators to experience simplex operation on 146, 223, and 446 megahertz bands. So go get that VHF UHF station set up and have some radio fun. Time to start thinking about the ARRL Summer Field Day on June 28th and 29th. The Okayan Amateur Radio Society is already planning their field day operations to be back at the Mitchell Memorial Forest location, planning on setting up 5 stations for the event on Friday at 2 p.m. They're planning a solar, satellite, digital, NTS, and operations, among other exciting ham radio events. The Get on the Air station will be active, getting new operators and those thinking about ham radio on the air. For more information or to volunteer to help out, contact Field Day Chairman Eric, N8YC, at N8YC123@gmail.com. Paddle Fest will be held on the weekend of August 2nd, and they're looking for some amateur radio volunteers to assist with managing and deploying FRS radios to be used during this year's event. If you would like to volunteer to help out, please contact Rick Calderman, KD4PYR, at KD4PYR@fuse.net.
Repeater news.
Are you looking for the most up-to-date list of repeaters in the greater Cincinnati area? Well, I have an Excel spreadsheet where I've listed repeaters that are active in the area, separated by tabs for each band or mode, so you can easily look for just DMR repeaters or 2-meter analog repeaters and so on. The list includes 2 meters, 220, 440, 6 meters, D-Star, DMR, C4FM, P25, and some other classifications. Every time I update the file, I include the date and the file name so that you know you have the latest update. To download the file, go to the AB4WS Radio Show Facebook page and go to the file section and download the file. If you're not on Facebook, email me at ab4ws.radio@gmail.com and I can email you the latest file. If you see any errors, problems, additions, or corrections, email that information to ab4ws.radio@gmail.com.
Hamfests.
April 26th is the Tusco Amateur Radio Club 2025 Hamfest Computer and Electronics Show at the Tuscarawas County Fairgrounds, 259 South Tuscarawas Avenue in Dover, Ohio. For more information, go to w8zx.net/hamfest. On April 27th is the Athens Hamfest at the Athens Community Center, 701 East State Street in Athens, Ohio. For more information, go to ac-ara.org. On May 10th through May 15th is the RV Radio Network Rally at the Baylor Beach Park, 8777 Manchester Avenue Southwest in Navarro, Ohio. Talk in on 146.52 Simplex. Tickets are now on sale for the Dayton Hamvention, May 16th, 17th, and 18th, 2025 at the Greene County Fairgrounds in Xenia, Ohio. The 2025 theme is Radio Independence, celebrating the evolution and freedom of radio in today's world. For more information, go to hamvention.org. June 7th is the FCARC Summer Hamfest from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Delta American Legion Post 373 on the corner of Ohio 109 and County Road F5939 in Delta, Ohio. August 9th is the Cincinnati Hamfest, sponsored by the Milford Amateur Radio Club at the Claremont County Fairgrounds in Owensville, Ohio. For more information, go to milfordhamradio.org. On August 9th is the Letcher County Amateur Radio Club Hamfest at the Mountain Shrine Club, 95 Maryland Drive in Whitesburg, Kentucky, from 8 a.m. to noon. They're already amassing a nice stash of door prizes from some great name brand sponsors. For more information, contact Roland Brown, AF4Y at AF4Y@REBROWN.org.
Are you looking to upgrade your license? Do you have someone else that's interested in the hobby? Here are some upcoming exam opportunities.
The Milford Amateur Radio Club holds amateur radio testing on the third Thursday of each month at 6 p.m. at the Miami Township Civic Center, 6101 Meyer Drive in Milford, Ohio. Please pre-register at milfordhamradio.org. The Dayton Amateur Radio Association has exams frequently. For their exam schedule, email exams.w8bi@gmail.com. On Saturday, April 26th, there will be an amateur radio exam session at the American Legion, 45 Spears Lane in Danville, Kentucky. Contact Carol Miller, AF6MB, at 541-602-6535. On May 3rd, the Dial Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio testing session at 6 p.m. at 3806 Manchester Road in Middletown, Ohio. Pre-register at hamstudy.org/sessions. On May 3rd at 10 a.m., the Northern Ohio Amateur Radio Society will host an amateur radio exam session at Fairview Park Public Library, 21255 Lorraine Road in Fairview Park, Ohio. Walk-ins are welcome. Call 216-337-4235 for more information. On May 3rd at 10 a.m., the Crooked River Amateur Radio Club will host an amateur radio testing session at the Oak Hill Presbyterian Church, 2406 Ardwell Avenue in Akron, Ohio. You must pre-register by emailing GERUTRETIRED@gmail.com or call 330-786-8058. On May 10th at 10 a.m., the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio exam session at the Cuyahoga Falls Public Library, 2025 2nd Street in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. You must pre-register by emailing education@cfarc.org or call 330-929-8921. On May 10th at 10 a.m., there'll be an amateur radio exam session at the American Red Cross, 1450 Newtown Pike in Lexington, Kentucky. Contact Fernie, KE4MAI, at 859-536-3393. On May 11th at 9:15 a.m., the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio testing session at the Old Elmwood Recreation Center, 6200 Winooski Parkway in Independence, Ohio. Walk-ins are allowed. For more information, email metro351@sbcglobal.net or call 216-520-1320. On June 10th, the Stubblefield Repeater Club will hold an amateur radio exam session at 6 p.m. at 200 Alpine Drive in Shelbyville, Kentucky. For more information, contact Cecil Harden, K5CPT, at 502-712-3400. On June 12th, the DeForest Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio exam session at 6 p.m. at the Adams County Emergency Management Office, 31 Logan's Lane in West Union, Ohio. Please pre-register by emailing K8WEH@KHWEH@ARRL.net or on the KHGE.net website. On Saturday, June 14th at 10 a.m., there'll be a W5YI amateur radio exam session at the Georgetown Police Department, 550 Bourbon Street in Georgetown, Kentucky. For information, contact Ron Malinowski at 502-542-8252. On August 14th, the DeForest Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio exam session at 6 p.m. at the Adams County Emergency Management Office, 31 Logan's Lane in West Union, Ohio. Please pre-register by emailing K8WEH at K8WEH@ARRL.net or check in on the K8GE.net website. On October the 9th, the DeForest Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio exam session at 6 p.m. at the Adams County Emergency Management Office, 31 Logan's Lane in West Union, Ohio. Please pre-register by emailing K8WEH at K8WEH@ARRL.net or on the K8GE.net website. On December 11th, the DeForest Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio exam session at 6 p.m. at the Adams County Emergency Management Office, 31 Logan's Lane in West Union, Ohio. Please pre-register by emailing K8WEH at K8WEH@ARRL.net or on the K8GE.net website. Special thanks to this week's content contributors: KY6MM, KF8PO, W8WTD, WX4GPS, KN4COE, KY4GW, WB8YYS, KD8ZLD, K9HIO, N8LAR, K4NKU.
If you have something you think other amateur radio operators in the area would be interested in, send the information or your recorded audio file attached in an email to ab4ws.radio@gmail.com.
Covering your amateur radio news and information in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana tri-state area, this is Jack Prindle, AB4WS in Big Bone, Kentucky.